No. Rhodri.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at?
It's opinions. I respect your opinions. Maybe in your opinion Messi is better than me, but in my mind I'm better than him.
I do it again.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up, matter what, told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. Do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold hearted, now I'm back up. Keep me real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just hit the money and go stack up. Only buy cards, so you tat it up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, add it up,
You know it's Friday when you hear that music. Hi guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of Rhodri Giggs on football. This is episode number 9. We are live on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. As you well know now, Ace Podcast Nation, of course, you're home to many great shows and series featuring top guests, expert analysts and more. And there's certainly some things in the pipeline to add even more content to that stuff. But do give us a follow on social media, subscribe to that YouTube channel, click the bell for notifications so you never miss a show or an interview or anything which we put out. And of course, if you prefer your podcast in audio form, then you can get all of our shows, including Rhodri Giggs on football, at the Sports Social Podcast Network, the UK's first dedicated sports podcast network, and you can find all our content there. We release the audio versions just either just after the show or maybe in the morning, sometimes the day after, but it'll always be on our social media feeds and stuff, so you can go straight to the link and download it, and you can of course download all the other shows as well. But just as we wait for some of the stragglers and the late comers, as it were, to join us, I'm going to very quickly give us a little update on the Super Six. We're supporting a charity Super Six prediction league this year, helping to raise some money for two great charities, Maggie Centre and Mind. And just for this update, obviously, Rhodri plays, myself, Andy Campbell, loads of like ex-footballers, coaches, all that sort of thing. So you could test your football knowledge against those people. But as we didn't really have a midweek round this week, good job, because I would have forgotten if I had. There's been no change to the overall leaderboard. So I thought we'd give a little shout out to some regular viewers, previous guests, etc. So you got Cohen Griffith, ex-Cardiff City legend, is in 4th place overall. Owen Jones, Owen Jones, who I just saw in the chat, he's 7th. Craig Sullivan 11th, Will Melush 19th, Donna Perry 28th, very respectable. James Costley 34th. Rye is in the top 50 at 48th. Our very own Andy Campbell is 56th. Gavin Gordon 65, Andy Legg 67, Rob Boyle 72, Willie Boland, the man responsible for my marriage, is 76th. I am just behind him in 77th, Rhodri. Lee Jarman is 82nd, and the late comer, Rhodri Giggs, at 88th. Next round is tomorrow at 3 p.m, so do check that out. I should say, Rhodri, you're 88th. You came in late, so you missed
How many did I miss? I missed about 8.
I'd have to go back and check. I think you must have missed at least the first 5 games, and also you've forgotten a couple of rounds. So you're only, I think, what did I say? 8. I think you're like a couple of spaces behind me, but obviously I'm the standard for everyone. Everyone, is trying to beat me. 77th. Whew, I'm ecstatic.
I'll catch you by the end of the season. No problem.
I got no doubt about that. like if I don't finish bottom, I'll be happy. Basically, set the standards, mate. We're going to talk a bit about standards and whatnot. I would imagine in a minute, but obviously, I'm going to ask you about Manchester United Liverpool last week, my friend. We can't avoid it. But before we talk about that, because that's going to be quite a lengthy conversation, I wanted to talk about a few other little bits and pieces. The first one being, I don't know if you saw Ryan Reynolds and I forget the name of the other guy off Rob McClenney, obviously the owners of Wrexham, did an interview with Sky Sports. And they were like, basically saying, we want to get to the Premier League. We realise it's going to take a lot of time, but the structure's there, the funds are there, the organisations, everything's in place at the club. It's just a case of doing the business on the pitch. Now, I've got to say, I find them quite refreshing anyway, because they're not like your normal chairman who's kind of giving it Billy bullshitter, for lack of a better term. They're all like it, aren't they? Simon Jordan, Daniel Levy, they all kind of are in that same mold of telling you nothing while saying a lot. Like long term, do we think Wrexham could, just get back to where they were in talking like League One, League Two? Do you think that's a realistic ambition for them?
It all depends on how much money they're willing to pump in. It's all right bringing views and bringing people. It's all about what kind of money you've got involved, because there's some big clubs there now in League Two, League One, even in the National League. There's some big clubs in there. Yeah. So yes,
not many of them have got the same amount of money, have they? Like Ryan Reynolds.
No, they haven't. Ridiculous amount of money. That money as well.
Of course,
you've got to put it in the right way. But look like they're getting involved with the community and so on. So yeah, it can only be good for Wrexham when someone of that ilk. It doesn't matter if they know nothing about football. They seem passionate about the club and they're getting involved with the locals as well, which will go down well. So yeah, it can only bode well.
One of the things, I don't know if it was this week, I think it was a previous interview, but I noticed that they did say that they were going to bring in football people, not just people who know football, but people who know Welsh football. And I think that's what you need, isn't it? When you've got like a rich owner, and look, compared to some of the Premier League owners, even Ryan Reynolds is not that rich, but like for what are they in the conference, they're very rich owners for the level they're at the moment. But it was refreshing to hear that they were going to bring in not just football people, but people who know Welsh football. Obviously, they've got to back that up now and do so. But like you say, good signs that they're getting involved with the community as well. Because to me, that says that they're not just viewing it as just a business to try and make money. Long term, they want to improve it and improve the area and all that sort of stuff. Look, I as a Welsh football fan, and you won't hear me say this very often, I would love nothing more than for Wrexham to be back up in League One, League Two. I would love it if Wrexham got to the Championship. I would love all the Welsh clubs, Newport, Wrexham, Cardiff, them to be in the Championship all together. That'd be amazing to me. But
well, it's always been a big club. I remember when we used to get
Mickey Thomas made scoring that goal against Arsenal.
When we played for Bangor, we used to play him in the Welsh Cup, and it was always a big game for us because it was playing at Wrexham and then watching the Wales team at Wrexham all the time back in the day. They used to play there all the time. So yeah, it's a big club, and like I say, it all bodes well.
Yeah, like Will says there, he says, good on them for trying, but it'll take at least 15 to 20 years to get to the Premier League from where they are. I think that's probably a fair shout, isn't it?
Well, you look at Salford now. They're pumping millions into it, and the bottom of the League Two. It's not easy. No. You've got to get it right. You can't be, you can't say one thing and then do another. You've got to give managers time. You can't be sacking them every 2 minutes.
Did you see Monday Night Football? Guy Neville was on there, and I thought, do you know what? I give him so much credit because apart from the fact that I think him and Gallagher are the best two pundits, what he does, what you get with Guy Neville is he will give you 100% honesty. And when he was talking about Solskjaer and managers, pressure and being sacked and stuff like this, he even said, I sacked the manager last year, 6 games in or something like that.
Well, exactly. That's just
and
telling you.
he admitted he made a mistake, didn't he?
Yeah, but that tells you his heart's really in his head. He doesn't listen to his own advice.
Yeah.
So to listen to your own advice, you wouldn't have done that if it was a Manchester United manager. So why are you doing it if it's because you're the owner? You know, he likes middling, and you know sometimes you've just got to listen to your own advice. And you know, yeah, yes, he's man enough to make a mistake, but you know, with his experience, he shouldn't have made that mistake. Especially the people around him. He's got 4 others that have been the same experience. So, and they all come to the same conclusion. I'm pretty sure it's not him just making the choices. They all discuss it, and no, he's the one that puts the hammer down on foot.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, listen to your advice.
Like we mentioned there about like the amount of money and how much money will Ryan Reynolds and Rob McClerney put in. That will ultimately be the decision on how fast they move up. Because like Salford, they raced up the non-leagues, didn't they? They just kept winning the title after title after title, and then as soon as they've hit League Two, that's where they've seemingly sort of hit a bit of a wall. But like realistically, just a ballpark figure, I guess. How much money have they put into Salford from when they bought the club?
Well, 10 years ago to this day, I was manager of Salford City Football Club, and the wage bill was £800 a week. So that was for all the staff, all the managers. It did start on £1,400, but like Salford always used to do, they probably won't like me for saying it, but I'm going to tell them the truth. They dropped the wages when we knew we weren't going to get promoted, or they had a history for it, and they did that. And then you just lose players mentally. You know, even if it's 10, 15%, I've seen it so many times at non-league when people drop the wages. So, yeah, and Salford did that. We still carried on. We still got them the highest they ever did it in 4 or 5 years. They're always in a relegation fight. I come in October they had 3 points and we ended up mid-table after 4 or 5 years being in relegation fights every year. And now look at they're spending millions. So the whole ground is transformed. It's all it was an old stadium. It was 100 years old. It was just a concrete stadium, just one little stand. Now it's a nice little stadium. Still, it's not in the heart of Salford. It's out of the way, and it's probably not big enough. So they're going to probably go to the rugby stadium, which is still not in Salford. It's in Trafford, but you know it's a bit bigger, and they'll probably end up going there.
Does that piss the fans off, like the people who go and watch Salford, that it's not in Salford?
You just get more support. You just get more support. If it was in the heart of Salford, say where the Willows was, where Salford old rugby ground was, it was right in the middle of Weast, right in the middle of the heart of Salford, and then knocked that down and put that into housing. So, yeah, and then built that one next to the Trafford Centre, which is Salford rugby ground, which is again not in Salford. So, and Salford City is a big place. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure they could have found somewhere. You know, it's very difficult now because, you know, everywhere you look, there's houses and flats and everywhere going up. But there were spots, but you know, they've probably just gone for the cheap option. You know, they've not come in for the love of Salford. Let's get it right. They've come in to do what they're doing.
Make money.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure they're not making money at the minute. Yeah. They're going to make a little bit, but not a lot, if not any. But, you know, it's a project for them. So, and they're doing good stuff in the community as well. The University of 92 is really good. So, and they've got a women's team now. They've got a very good youth system. So, you know, they are doing really good stuff as well.
That was my next question, actually. Were they, or are they, like, what's their youth system like? Because one thing I think, up until probably the last 2 or 3 years, that Welsh League clubs miss out on a lot was young talent who don't get picked up by Cardiff or Swansea. Like, there's so many talented footballers who slip through the net because they get told no at like 10, 11. By the time they're 16, they're proper players, but Cardiff have already had a look.
What you've got now, you've got universities that have academies, and they obviously do education as well. So they have classes in the morning, then they play football in the afternoon, or vice versa. That's what I did when I was at FC United. They had classrooms on the site at the ground, which is a brand new ground, which is handy, and then we trained with them. So we had I had 35. So we had the first years, you'd have them train in the morning, and then the second years would be doing the schoolwork, and then after lunch it was vice versa, and you just do it like that. But then it's so hard for Salford and FC United because you've got Rochdale, you've got Oldham, you've got Manchester United, you've got Manchester City,
Preston.
You've got Preston, you've got Bolton, you've got Macclesfield now that have come into the scene, you've got Stockport, so you've got a really lot of teams. So it's difficult now for Salford. So they're going that route, but eventually they'll obviously. I think they might have an academy now, like a youth system, but that's the way forward. That's where they probably Wrexham will probably go. In long term, if they're there for long term.
Yeah, because I think with Wrexham, you can pick up players around the Chester area, Liverpool, places like that. Like they got a big net, especially because in some ways Wrexham is quite isolated from Cardiff and Swansea, like down in North Wales. I know there's other clubs down there, which are obviously North Wales clubs, but Wrexham's the biggest club down there.
No, but so even inside, like to Newtown, Westpool, Cazus, further in, this. It's plus the travelling they've got to do, and so there's some players that just end up playing the League of Wales because it is a very good league.
Oh yeah,
but you're just not going to get, and then hopefully you get seen there. But it's difficult. But there are so many players in that League of Wales that could easily play in the league.
Yeah, I think Cardiff and Swansea particularly have missed out on really having a look in the Welsh League to see if there's any players down there who can do a job. I feel like they don't do that enough. Will Maliush, he says Ryan Reynolds and Rob are mega millionaires. They had some tech company which they sold for serious money. Oh, don't get me wrong, I know they are loaded. I get that. But what I was referring to is if you compare them to the Newcastle owners or the Man City owners, they're not even in the same ballpark. So,
no, they're not billionaires, are they? They're multi-billionaires, they're not billionaires. There's a difference, isn't there?
Yeah, paupers, mate. Paupers. Right, mate. We mentioned a little bit. The certain Mr. Solskjaer is under pressure. I watched an interview with him literally about half hour ago from today. He was not happy. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but apparently some journalists printed something about Paul Pogba, which was basically complete and utter rubbish, and they kind of twisted his words and stuff like that. Solskjaer was very defensive of Pogba in that regard, but he also said, it's been a good week, we've been working hard, blah blah blah. But to me, if they go out and beat Spurs 3-0 tomorrow, right, I find that almost more insulting to the fans that they couldn't get up for the Liverpool game, because that, make no mistake, mate, in my opinion, that was one of the worst Manchester United performances I've seen in many a year. And against their biggest rivals, I thought tactically they were terrible. I thought individually they were even worse, by the way. And I think this is the problem with football in many ways. And we talked about it a bit the other week with Cardiff. The players they always get a free pass. It's the manager who gets sacked. It's the manager who gets the abuse, the manager who's under pressure. But why isn't Harry Maguire under pressure? Why isn't Paul Pogba under pressure? Why isn't Ronaldo under pressure? All these players let their team down last week. The only ones I probably excuse is the likes of Mason Greenwood and like those kind of younger players. The rest of them, I thought, were pretty much a disgrace. But that's from the outside. I want to know what it's like from you. I disagree
with Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood's growing up in Manchester United. You should know what Liverpool Manchester United is all about. Okay. So he's one of the ones that should be working harder and running about more. So I disagree with you there. He should know. He should, more than anyone, should know what Manchester United and Liverpool's all about. Yes, he's young, but you get up for it, and there's no excuse. Every single player. I don't think you can name one player. What player? You can't name one player. Was it worse than Man City? Worse since 6-1? I think it was worse than that, because I was watching the game. Bruno Fernandes had an early chance, and then they scored. And just by looking at it and looking the way they were playing, I just texted my mate saying this is going to be a massacre. This. And
well, we said on Friday it could be like painful, like because. The way United had played in the games before. It's
just naivety, but naivety by the manager. players not putting a shift in. You can't be that open against a team that are better than you. It's just simple as that. You just can't. It doesn't matter if you're at home or not. You have to keep it nice and tight, nice and solid, and drop a few players, upset a few characters. Who gives a shit? You're the manager of Manchester United. You've got to show your authority, and don't care who's in the changing room, because you won't be if you carry on acting the way you're acting. So yeah, you just put too many players that are letting down, and Jesse Lingard must be thinking, what the hell have I got to do to get in this side? Because that's what it needed. People like him getting about the pitch.
I thought tactically they were terrible, man, mate. They were. It was a non-existent press.
Tactically, mate. There's 3 midfielders getting. It's just they're all professional footballers. Please don't tell me that they play. That's the manager's fault. They played that badly. Yes, it wasn't the best tactically, but the players let him down massively. Maguire, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, week after week. I haven't seen a good cross from him in 2 years, 3 years. Since Emmy's been there. Yes, he's great defending, but I'll say it again, he crosses the ball like he's got flippers on. He's shocking as a cross of the ball. So yeah, it's but if they do win against Tottenham, it's...
The problem is they ride a wave, don't they? They have a bad result, they'll come back and have a couple of good ones.
Well, not really, because the last 5 weeks, 4 weeks, they've been getting beat. They haven't got a result. So I don't, they at this. Yes, they started well, and if Fernandes scores a goal, what happens? But yeah, defensively and the Fred and McTominay, they're not good enough.
Well, mate, like I gotta say, I said I think it was on episode 3 of our show that I felt like Salah was the best footballer in the world at the moment on form, and look, he was quality, but United just gave him so much room to just run through. And I think it was Craig just said there was one of the goals where the referee outpaced the United players tracking back. We talked about this last week, mate. The one thing that you expect from your football team as a fan is that the players try and give 100%. That's the bare minimum. And I think there was too many of those players who didn't really.
Well, I remember when he come in and he said, no one should be outworking a Manchester United team. Nah, blah, blah, blah. What's happened to that? Because we're 17th, 18th most hard-working team in the league. So what's happened to that in the last 2 or 3 years?
Why hasn't that been picked up? They got so many stats. Why is
exactly? So that's the buck stops with him. When then kind of stats come up, it doesn't look good. The coaching staff, they're not experienced. It go back to this is an elite football team. Why have you got a novice as a manager? And he's got to prove them wrong. He's got to prove them wrong, and he's got to come out fighting. But his team have got to come out fighting too, because they let him down massively. To get beat off them at home like that is a disgrace. So, and there's true United fans there singing, chanting until the end. Yes, you'll get that support, United. Yes, you'll get the scum fan cams who want us to get beat and all that absolute scum. They're not Man United fans. Most of them are Tottenham fans or Forest fans or whatever. They don't represent Man United. They're doing it for the money. They're talking crap. If they're saying to me or they're putting it on social media, I want to get beat for the manager, and please, it's just idiots.
Yeah, I've never really got that. Understood the mentality of wanting your team to lose to get rid of a manager or whatever it may be.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Idiots. They don't know nothing about football, nothing about the tradition of the football club they're supporting. So they're idiots.
There's a lot of Premier League clubs. Man United is probably the worst for it, who have got fans who have got 2 clubs, and then they've got YouTube channels with millions of views. And I'm not naming anyone. Good for them. Crack on, do your thing. I've said that all along. I'm happy. I'm happy for everybody to do what they want to do, and what they want to put out is up to them. But there's too many who they support Man United. They got a Man United channel. They clickbait the hell out of it, get millions of views, but they also support whoever, Forest, Reading, whatever. And it's like, it feels very much like you're just monetizing clickbait because United's got so many fans. Look, Will Melush says there, Ollie is a nice guy, but he's a useless manager, in my opinion. He says when he was at Cardiff, it was basically a coin toss for who would play, no tactical awareness. I think he's got better because I think what people got to realize, yes, they got absolutely dicked on Saturday, but he's also, in the last couple of seasons, in some of the bigger games against Man City, Liverpool, etc., in the league, Chelsea, he's got it tactically right. And they've put on good performances. It's actually been the perceived lesser teams that they've had a bit more trouble with. So I don't think he is the same manager that he was at Cardiff City. I do think he's improved, but he's also got a different class of player to pick from. I also think I agree with what Jamie Carragher said on Monday, that the squad United have got, if you put Klopp in charge of that squad, they would be bang up there. Because they have the players. The centre midfield is a problem, of course it is, because you mentioned the stats, mate, and they're getting outworked. But you've got McTominay, Fred, and Matic, and then Pogba. But those three, you're like, two of those are going to play as your holding midfielder. There's no legs there. So who's going to do the running? It's a problem. But I don't know, like, do you think, like, they will stick with him till the end of the season, no matter what?
Yes. And, people will say, why don't you get rid of him now? Because Manchester United are trying to uphold like a tradition and not be like the rest. And that's it. And, he's earned the right to see it out. Will I think he'll do it? No, I won't. But from where he's took it, from where we were to where we are now, he has made us a better team. He's brought better players in. And I've always said that I don't think he's tactically inept, but I hope he proves me wrong. Prove me wrong. I hope he does. Please plead with him. I hope he does. But, he's just got to give him to the end of the year and see if he can pull out of it. It's not a good trade when you're getting beaten semi-finals and you're getting beaten finals, and then you come second, and then you get three players that arguably strengthen you, and you're worse off team. So. Yeah, and he's in his third year, which the team should be getting better, not worse. Philosophy, the way of playing, players running for him, working for him, and not being the lowest working rate team in the league and being more where they should be.
So they got Tottenham tomorrow, then they got Atlanta, and then Man City, and then Watford. Like, if they lose all four of those games heavily, you still don't think they will sack him?
Say again.
So if they lose to Tottenham, Atlanta, and Man City, 3 on the bounce, and they lose relatively convincingly, you don't think that they'll get rid of him, even if they lose those big games?
It's a difficult decision. It's difficult.
I know they don't want to,
because
the pressure will be too much.
If that's happening, then
he's got to go, isn't he?
Yeah, if you get beat on all in 3 games, at Tottenham, Atlanta, and who?
Man City. Man City being the third one.
He's got to win 2 of them, at least 2.
Yeah, I mean, we said we'd make McCarthy.
Otherwise, the pressure's going to start mounting. Yes, you've got a Watford game, but then you've got Chelsea around the corner as well. So, yeah. So
can you imagine what that Chelsea team would do to that if United play like they did against Liverpool?
And especially, if Lukaku's having a little rest, he comes back being fit for that game. He's going to want to, bully, absolute bully. He's going to absolutely sit on Maguire. That is a certainty. So,
God, I'd be more worried about if he gets up against Lindelof, mate.
Maguire needs to sort himself out. He's been brilliant. People have questioned about he's been brilliant for us, but since he's come back, he just doesn't look fit, doesn't look right.
But I think they rushed him back, didn't they? Because Varane was injured. But he's got to. If you're declaring yourself fit, you've got to do the business, haven't you? You can't hide behind that. Craig Sullivan says, "Is the problem the manager or is it the coaching staff? Fergie always had the best number 2s available, and they worked on the training ground to improve the team. And like Fergie did, he had some of the number 2s he had was incredible. But one of his former number 2s, very successful one, Mike Phelan, is part of Ollie's team.
He was
So I
never
think
really a number
he
two.
wasn't one of the most successful ones, though, was he?
No, but he wasn't his number two, was he? He was never really his number two. Number two was
Carlos Queiroz.
Carlos Queiroz, Steve McLaren, Walter Smith.
Did they have Walter? I was going to say Walter Smith was there for him, and we'll talk about Walter Smith in a minute, mate. But
Walter Smith. Who else was there? Archie Knox. Proper top coaches.
proper footballers, right?
Yeah, Mike Phelan. I don't remember Mike Phelan.
I thought he was number two towards the end.
He always just be there with his shorts on. But I don't think he's ever seen him with his coach anything. He's too busy on Twitter these days, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, Gavin, I am seeing your comments, mate. I don't know why you're saying that to you, I'm afraid. But I'm seeing them, so crack on. Keep them coming. It's going to be interesting because they've got some really hard games, mate, coming up. So the pressure's only going to build.
But that's what you want. Tottenham usually it's been a good place for us to go. So they're not playing great either. So it might suit us as well being away from home. These big players, man up. You've got to perform. You're at Manchester United. No.
In the interview he did today, he did make a good point. He said his words were, "I've had 2 or 3 crises since I've been United coach, and I've steered the club through all of them." And I was trying to pinpoint which crises. One of them would have been when they went out of the Champions League, I'm guessing. But I couldn't really pinpoint where else he was talking about. He's had some tough times, of course, rough times since he's been the manager of Man United. But I think, do you know what I just think? I just think overall, he's kind of run his course now. If they want to now, I think he's steadied the ship. He's brought in a better quality of player. He's brought back the kind of signing of younger footballers and quality footballers. He's got rid of some of the deadwood. I just think maybe it's run its course in terms of he's taken them as far as he can take them. And now if they want to kick on, maybe they have got to go elsewhere. And that's not necessarily like him failing. Like, I just think he's taken them as far as he can to his ability as a manager. Does that make sense?
No, I agree to a certain extent, yeah.
So we mentioned Walter Smith right there. He was at United for a short period as an assistant manager, wasn't he? He was only brief before he was then back in the Scotland job. But just talk to us a little bit about sort of Walter Smith and what an incredible manager, mate, in terms of, especially in Scotland, like won trophy after trophy with Everton, with Rangers, had a good little 4-year stint at Everton, Scotland manager at all age groups. But yeah, talk to me about him, mate. Pay a bit of a tribute to the man.
Yeah, well, he's obviously a really good bloke. You can see that by the tributes, but I never really met him myself. But some of the stories, I think the main one that I heard about was the Ronaldo one, where they was getting sick of him in training, so he banned fouls. He said, right, no fouls, do what you want. And so he just started fucking booting Ronaldo, just booting him. And so like 3 or 4 weeks down the line, he's thinking, forget this. Started passing it, moving, and he's scoring more goals. Oh, what's going on? And then there you have it. And
so that was at the point where Ronaldo wouldn't release it. Was that when Ronaldo was kind of running down blind alleys in the earlier days? And he wasn't releasing the ball.
He's been there for about a year, and he was all these tricks and blah, blah, blah. So when you got Paul Scholes and Roy Keane just booting you, just pass the ball off. You're gonna get booted. He's obviously a smart kid and picked it up and used his talents and the rest is history, as they say. But that was down to Walter Smith by just letting do good coaching, letting players figure it out, and
obviously, like our thoughts with his family, his friends, everything like that. But a truly great man in football terms.
I remember being in Scotland as well at that time, and I was a big, obviously, Rangers fan. The team they had, talking like Brian Laudrup, Gascoigne, McCoist. They had Andy Gore. Pardon?
Proper footballers. They
had real who was the midfielder? They had really good players, really good team. And I remember winning like going for 9 on the row, and they got 9 in the row. Don't think they got the 10th, but yeah, it was a real good team and proper football guy, and a really nice man by the sounds of it. But someone who you wouldn't have gone the wrong side of either. But yeah.
So Craig says there are lots of good stories from Walter from both sides of Glasgow, which you don't always find. There's not many guys.
No, exactly. And you get all the people tributing from the Celtic people who rightly so as well, because that's the type of guy he was. And yeah, well, you don't really get that with Celtic and Rangers, because they're they're fierce rivals, but just shows how much of a
So we got a couple of questions made for the people have asked of you in regard to United. So Reece says,
have we got the card? Oh, go on.
Reece, just to get these Man United questions, and then we'll move on to the Cardiff one. Reece says, what are United's expectations through this season from now? They're well behind City, Chelsea, Liverpool, so surely fourth spot is the target, and they're on course to achieve that, as others will drop away. Like, what's the bare minimum? Reece said that.
Yeah, Reece. When you're at Manchester United, you don't think of anything else but winning the league until it's mathematically impossible. I know it's going to be a stretch, but that's the mindset you've got to have when you play for Man United. Playing for fourth, you might as well hit the road.
Arsenal. Well, that's people have criticised Arsenal for years for it, wouldn't they? Was that they just
that won't happen in Man United. If it does, they'll get shut down pretty quickly.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Craig says, do you think if Fergie's choice of David Moyes was given the amount of time that Ollie's had, he would have been a success and brought success to the club?
It's a difficult question, that. I don't know. You can see what he's doing at West Ham, so he's obviously a good manager, but it's different class of players that he was dealing with.
Yeah, I think
United.
One of the problems he had was that he upset the likes of Ferdinand and Vidic quite early in his run. So I think once you upset those senior players who still had a lot to offer, it's a difficult change. It's difficult to get that changing room on side, especially as a new manager replacing Fergie and stuff like that.
Especially when you've got a CV of winning nothing.
Yeah. And all those players had been winning year in, year out. It's difficult, isn't it?
League winners, Champions League winners. Wee Davy comes in with nothing in his trophy cabinet.
But then Lorna compares Moyes to she says the same as Pellegrini when he came into Man City. He wasn't shown the respect, and then they announced Pep as new manager before Pellegrini left and stuff like that. But I would argue that Pellegrini had a better CV than David Moyes. So
he managed Real Madrid. Managed Real Madrid.
No, they were.
Davey was at Preston, Everton.
Yeah. It's different levels, isn't it?
Preston or Everton, Real Madrid. Or what else was the other Spanish side? What was it? Real Sociedad.
Sociedad, I think, or might have even been Zaragoza. I can't remember. My memory.
Yeah, it was Zaragoza, right? Yeah.
So Reece, in response to your thing about United have to aim for the title and nothing more, he says, but United are nowhere near the level of City, Chelsea, Liverpool on the pitch. So they've got to be realistic.
What do you do? Go, okay, no, forget it. Let's give up. Throw the top. Let's just give up. We'll go for fourth. No, you keep fighting and keep, because football's a funny game.
You never know.
Someone get a couple of injuries, someone had a bad result. Chelsea can beat City, Liverpool can beat City, Liverpool can beat Chelsea, vice versa. So and it only needs one signing, one good midfielder next month, or maybe a new manager comes in, and we've seen it before. A new manager comes in, like Solskjaer did, and won 19 on the bounce. So, and they've got the players to do that. They've got Ronaldo. They've got a lot of good players there still. So it can happen. But is it going to happen by the looks of it right now? No. But what do you do? Just say, let's play for fourth. No, it's mathematically, we can still win the league and we still get the Champions League. We still win the FA Cup.
8 points behind Chelsea at top. Like Blackburn and Leeds won the league.
9 games, 10 games in.
Yeah, I mean Blackburn won. Was it Blackburn or Leeds won the league from like 14 points behind? The 1 year, and it was only like
Newcastle. We was down 12
Newcastle.
points in January. We beat them by 5 points. So yes, it's not. Yes, the City and Liverpool are better quality. But if Liverpool lose Van Dijk, they're screwed. If Liverpool lose, see how Chelsea got on with Lukaku did well on the weekend, but see how they do with a few more games, and with City, they're just like a well-oiled machine. I think they're just going to keep rolling on. So they're the worry, City.
Cade says Fergie did not look happy in the crowd, which
but he's not going to, is he? They're his arch enemies. That's what he come into the job, and he had a purpose what he was doing to overhaul their league wins, and he's done that. And then but he's had some dark days at Old Trafford too, so he knows what it's like. What's he going to do? Look happy? He's not going to.
He's not going to be laughing and joking.
Yeah, but it doesn't help with him being around, but he's going to be there. He's remember Matt Busby? He was always there when Fergie was there. That could have been daunting. I remember he used to say you could always smell his smoke of his pipe when he come in the ground, so he knew he was in here. So it's and the players around are always going to have the say. Paul Scholes, obviously Guy Neville. So he's
got to put up with it, mate.
Yeah, it's a big job. It's one of the biggest jobs in the country. So
it's interesting.
He's under pressure.
He is big time. Guy Neville said the same as me. Antonio Conte is not a good fit for United. No. Do you agree with that? Like I said that a couple of weeks ago and got slaughtered.
For me, it'd be a no-brainer. I don't care what his Liverpool connection. It'd be Brendan Rodgers.
Interesting, that is, mate. I think Brendan Rodgers is one of the best young managers, and I count him as young.
He come at Liverpool and he was that far away from, with that squad. Yeah, he's a good coach. He's a really, really good coach. And
I tell you something, mate. If you had Brendan Rodgers in, say, like in the next couple of weeks, and in January, the first thing he would do is sign a top-class midfielder, a holding midfielder.
Yeah, he'd probably get Tillmans or...
What a player he is, by the way. Like him a lot. Right. Moving away from United a little bit, mate. We'll finish off the show, I think, with the talking Cardiff City's new manager. Before we do that, Newcastle United, as we knew was going to happen, linked with every name under the sun. But one name which really caught my eye, and I was like, could they do that? And that was Eden Hazard linked to Newcastle, mate. Do you see that one as a possibility? Madrid need to get rid of some players. He's not setting the world on fire in Madrid. Could he do Newcastle for 400 grand a week?
Definitely. But
I think he's an option.
Definitely. He'll win you some matches, but he's going to be there for one reason only, to get paid. So he's not the most mobile of people. His work rate's not up there, but if you get him in the right areas and you get him motivated, you'll do some damage him.
Like his agent apparently has been in contact with Newcastle and offered Newcastle the chance to sign him. One report I read said that he would want between 350 and 400 grand a week. Jesus Christ!
His agent's looking at their owners going 320 billion.
Yes,
400 grand. Boom. Away.
The thing is, mate, right? He could go there, 400 grand a week, go there for 18 months. Do well, do not well, doesn't really matter. Make millions and then go back to Chelsea to finish his career or whatever. Like, unreal, mate. I really are But again, the names which caught my eye was him. Lingard was linked again. Aaron Ramsey was linked. So these are the players I think will probably end up going there. And I tell you what, mate, you add in January, say, if you added Ramsey, Hazard and Lingard to that Newcastle squad, Newcastle could get in the Europa League this year. Easy, mate. Where are they in the league? No, mate, they could.
No.
Where are they in the league?
No. They're the third bottom, second bottom.
Yeah, mate, they'll win it from there. It's only 9 games gone.
No
Hazard
chance.
scored 40 goals
No
this year.
chance.
No,
No
I thought
chance.
they were a bit higher up in
They will
fairness.
be mid-table comfortably.
Yeah, they finished like top 10. It'd be funny if they got relegated though, wouldn't it? And they just signed like Hazard on 400 grand a week.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious.
That would test the FA's financial fair play
Bring
regulations.
back
wouldn't
Mike Ashley. Thought the shout would be.
it? Mike
Right,
Ashley.
probably wouldn't be. But
Been linked with Derby, mate. Yes, Mike Ashley. What do you think of that? Think that'd be a good move for Derby?
He's a steady hand, isn't he? He's not going to spend massive amounts of money, but he's not going to go under either.
Better than going under at the end of the day. I think that's one thing. Kind of moving towards Cardiff. I was kind of joking about the Newcastle and Europe thing, by the way. The pilot, or the person who was supposed to be the pilot for the Emiliano Sala flight, was found guilty yesterday. So basically, he was assigned to be the pilot, sort out the flight. He passed it on to someone who was colorblind, shouldn't have been flying at night, all these different things, that regulations that he broke. He pleaded not guilty to negligence and a more serious charge.
Even though all the messages were saying, keep quiet.
Yeah, he texted all the other people on the team. And do you know what stuck out for me, mate, is he texted all those people on the team, referred to the pilot who died, David Ibbotson, called him Ibbo. So they clearly, the group of people who were texting, they clearly knew this guy, like at least on a semi-personal level. It wasn't, oh my God, he's missing, hope he's found.
It makes you think how many times they've done this kind of thing, then, don't it? Yeah,
100%, mate. But the balls on him, mate. The balls on him to say not guilty to negligence. Oh, mate, the arrogance is unreal.
These people have the mindset like standing on roads, gluing the face to the roads. They're idiots.
They just don't care, mate.
No, they just live in their own world and they've got no.
I hope he goes to prison
anyone else
for a long time. But I think I said to my missus last night, I think he will get a suspended sentence. Whatever he gets, he'll get like 3 years in prison, but suspended. I want him to go to prison for the maximum, which I think is either 5 or 7 years. Get him in there, because what he did resulted in 2 people dying. You can't get away from that.
No.
And I hope that once he's sentenced, I hope that the authorities, the police, whoever, go after the agent and his son involved in it as well, because they were just as responsible as that guy. But that is another story which we will talk about
just
at a later date.
Sad thing all around.
Yeah, mate, it's horrible. Like, so avoidable, mate, is what I said to my missus last night. Like, a guy who's just got the biggest move of his life. He's finally really made it, like a multi-million-pound deal. A father and a husband who's flying the flight. Whether he should have been flying it or not is beside the point, in terms of a man still lost his life, still hasn't been found, by the way. Like, people lose track of that really quick. And like that, hopefully by this guy being sentenced, I hope that the families can at least try and move on. I don't mean move on and forget. I just mean move on and have some semblance of life without every day being the focus of it. It's horrifying, mate. And I feel for him, really do. So there's a bit of a disagreement going on in the live chat. Craig Sullivan says he definitely will go to prison. Rob Boyle said he's no way he'll see the inside of a prison cell. I don't think that he will.
I think he's definitely doing about 18 months, mate.
You reckon he'll do like a quick stint,
Yeah.
a year or something?
I've just seen it says something on the back. What does it say on the back?
Manscaped, your balls will thank you. So nicely done. So we haven't officially started, but from the start of November, we got a bit of a sponsorship deal with Manscaped, which we're very happy to have. We will do a full ad and talk about the products and stuff when it begins on the 8th, I think it is. But yeah, if you check it out, really, really now would help us out if when we give you the code out on the 8th of November, we need as many of you as possible to get that code and use it. But the good thing is,
nice Christmas gift, that.
Yeah, mate, 100%. Lots of and they've been the Lawnmower 4.0, which we're going to talk about on the 8th. Has got the it's made for women as well, so women can use it. So it's top of the range product, and that's what I like about it. Is it is genuinely top of the range. So really looking forward to telling you guys some more about that. And you get 20% off with the code, which we're going to give you as well, which is even better. So do us a favor, support that, use the code as many times as you can, give it to family, get them to use it. 20% off at Manscaped. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit more detail, of course. But yeah, Rhodri modeling the t-shirts they sent us, as well as the products, which we're going to try out, talk about. Cardiff City still haven't got a full-time manager, so they've got Steve Morrison's Donna. So the initial one, that one which I had with Kev, it was kind of like a tongue-in-cheek one. That was, it was a bit of fun with me and Kev. But I got to say, like, I am very happy and proud that Manscaped contacted us, because they sponsored the biggest podcast in the UK. So the fact that they got in touch was says we're doing some of the right stuff. So now we need to follow that through by supporting them and helping us up. But it's going to be good. It's going to be good. We'll talk about that a bit more in the future, in the next week or so. So Steve Morrison, mate, is in charge at Cardiff at the moment. There's some of the names which have been linked. Chris Wilder, Mike Flynn, ex-Newport manager, Jody Morris, my particular favourite. Neil Harris, of course, is in there. Steve Morrison as a full-time manager, maybe. Chris Houghton, Roy Keane, Craig Bellamy, Ryan Lowe. That was an interesting one for me. But like, any of those names stick out to you and you think that's the one I want?
Chris Wilder would be a good one.
So here's my take on that. Craig says Flynn is the odds-on favourite now. So here's my take on that.
Flynn would be a brilliant actor. I personally know Flynn. He's a good lad, done a great job at Newport. I don't know what's going on there, but we won't go into that. But yeah, he's done a good job, and he's a good manager. He's Welsh, so yeah. But, he's done a really good job at Newport. Really good job. So I've heard
that he is. I've heard that he, and this is why I think he's favourite, is I've heard that he's Vincent Tan's choice. Like, he really likes him. So I think that goes a long way.
I hope he gets it, because he's
well, here's my thinking with it. If they appointed Mike Flynn, I'd be excited. I'd be a little bit wary, but I'd be excited and I'd be happy with it. If they appointed Chris Wilder, I'd be less excited, but I'd be okay with it. My choice, and it's only my personal choice, would be Jody Morris or Roy Keane. I just think, because he's been managing Australia, hasn't he?
Australia,
Robbie?
India.
So there's a couple of aspects to it. One thing which makes me think he would do a good job is, he said in an interview, I might have even been in his book, that one of the only disappointments of his career is that he wasn't quite able to do the business with Cardiff when he came, for whatever reason. So it almost like he's got maybe a bit of unfinished business there.
I'm pretty sure he's put his name down to it. He said he's after a coaching job. So he's got
Nicky Butt, Nicky Butt's been linked as well.
Yeah, I bet there's loads of people that put a name in for that one, mate. Loads of people.
Is Nicky Butt any decent coach? He's been doing a lot with the academy of Man United, hasn't he?
Yeah, but something went. I don't know what happened there, and he ended up leaving. So
he has left the club completely.
Yeah, he left now. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. I thought he was still there. My choice would be Jody Morris or Roy Keane. I know that the Roy Keane one comes with like a little bit of risk, but the thing which there's two reasons which turned me around to it. One was his interview he did with Gary Neville when they went for a walk, and he said he wants like a project for 3 years to build something special. And also I said last week that I want someone who's got that attitude, like him or Bellamy or someone like that, who's going to go in and change the mindset of those players there's too many players, and I won't name any of them, but we all know who they are, who get a place in that team on their name alone. They're not doing the business. They're not committed. They're not looking after themselves from a physical point of view. And they're just generally not up to the standard that they should be. And that's not talking about their ability. That's talking about their attitude and their application in football matches. And I want someone to come in, whether it's Roy Keane, Craig Bellamy, someone of that ilk personality who will go in and fix that from the first team to the academy. Not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Why is the academy struggling as well?
I just think that since they have appointed someone today, actually, I'll double check who that was now. Bellamy just did an exceptional job at the academy, which we're obviously seeing the fruits of now with the first team. And I want someone to do the same thing again. I don't want it to slip. Like, I don't want to go another 10 years like we did from Ramsey to now, where we didn't really have any academy players in that first team. So I'm not necessarily saying that there's a problem.
It's a vital position to have to run in that kind. Because I've done it before. If you give me and this is not just me. This is people like Craig Bellamy. You give them type of people a group of players that are talented and have got potential. They're going to turn them into first team footballers, giving it the time and the effort and the work they're putting into them and the knowledge they're giving to them. It's not easy, but there's a knack of doing it in the academy, isn't? It's not easy, but you've got to have the right people there in place like that.
So Cardiff appointed David Hughes as their new head of academy today. So that'll be interesting to see kind of how that develops and how he does in that. Hopefully he does a great job. I think the things are in place.
As academy manager, your job is obviously to get players promoted to the first team.
There you go. Cardiff Academy doing brilliant. Top of the league, under 23, 7 from 7. Only conceded 3 goals, and most are under 19 as the oldest team.
That's brilliant. That's obviously that you've seen the fruits of the work of Craig Bellamy. You say, you need someone to come in and keep that good work going.
Reese says Bellamy did a great job at Anderlecht Academy apparently and got promoted to assistant manager of the first team. So he must be doing something right. My question mark over Bellamy is he left Belgium citing sort of depression and mental health issues. The pressure which comes with the Cardiff job, is it the right time for him to take that sort of job?
It's different when you're in a different country. He's in his
it could have been that he just missed his family, mate.
Exactly. It might be a home lad or in a different country. It is difficult sometimes. So it can be difficult, and you just want somewhere closer to home, and you're just thinking, do I need to do this? And so you don't know what the mindset is, but he's obviously good at what he does. So you just need to sometimes you just need to take time out and just gather your thoughts and then go again.
Yeah. Like Reese says, preferably would hire a manager who's got contacts with academy players, get some cheap in on loan. He said Flynn, I fear, only knows sort of League Two, really lacked a plan B in games and often blame the players for the losses, which I think could harm him if he continues that trend. What'd you say to that, mate?
Well, I've not seen evidence of that, really. Obviously, he's obviously seen more of that, but I just know him really on a personal level. So,
do you think that because he's coming from a lower, like a League Two side, that could mean that all his links are in the lower leagues? Doesn't necessarily mean that's the case.
Not necessarily, because he might be speaking to the bigger clubs, looking for the younger players.
Because Newport had a couple of United players on loan.
Yeah, so
last year or the year before, like
I know
he's
been about. He's been at Wigan. He was at Northwest. He's been about a bit as well. So he's got some contacts. Last time I seen him was at Cheltenham. He was guest of Paddy Power in the Paddy Power box. So that's the last time I seen him, and he was with the Newport chairman then. So he seemed to get on with them all. He's doing a great job, and so, but you just don't know. You don't know. Can he make that step? Yes, it's a gamble, but it's an exciting one.
Got to give people, got to give people opportunities, and I think
if you don't give opportunities, you don't know if they're good enough. So
at the end of the day, mate, I'd rather see him than Mick McCarthy or Russell
Plus,
Slade,
it always
Neil Harris.
sits right with me when there's a Welsh person in a Welsh job.
Yeah, I agree with that, mate. I like it.
So
a few people
irritate me when people play at Salford, when managing at Salford, trying to get as many local players as possible.
Yeah.
So
because they understand the club and the feeling behind it, don't they?
Yeah.
They care.
Yeah.
Ultimately, and that's why when Cardiff were on that run of lost 7 on the bounce with Mick McCarthy, the players who were still running their guts out was the academy players who had been promoted, and the players who were getting paid thousands and thousands of pounds jogging around.
This is where I go back to the Liverpool game on Sunday. Marcus Rashford, Greenwood. Why are you walking? You should never be walking on the football field. What are you walking for? So yes, they're not players that are going to get stuck in, but neither's Mo Salah, neither's Fabinho, neither's Mane, but they do it.
Yeah, a few people saying what Bellamy said that one of the reasons he left Belgium was when he went to his daughter's birthday party, she didn't recognise him or something like that because he'd been away for so long, and I think she's quite young. So yeah, it sounds like if that's the case, if he said that, then it seems like it's a.
Yeah, if I had a job and I went home and my son said, "I'm like, see you later, job."
Yeah,
like, what I mean. I don't need the money. I don't need it. I back myself. I'm good at what I do. I'll get another job somewhere else.
Yeah,
my family's more important than any job.
And well, that seems what he's done, isn't it? He left Belgium, so
yeah, maybe. You don't know sometimes you just don't know the ins and outs, and when mostly when you do know him, the understandable ones.
100%, mate. And I said from the start, when the pressure was on Mick McCarthy, that Bellamy I would be happy if he took over the Cardiff job. Because I know you were quite a component of the likes of John Terry or someone like that, giving them the job. If you were going to bring in, if you're in charge, you're bringing in a Jody Morris or a Bellamy or a John Terry, someone like that. Would you have someone experienced in there as the assistant or a director of football?
Well, that's down to them. You're not going to tell a coach how to kick a football.
So when a manager signs, when you sign, say for
if I sign manager at Salford, they're not telling me this is going to be a coach. I'm like, see a bit, go and get someone else. You bring your own staff in. And who you want in. This is where probably Ollie's gone a bit wrong. He's not got someone experienced and really good at coaching. He's got novices in, so they're going to help him through the tough times. Yes, he's been through tough times before, but you do need that experienced head. So you see it like Glenn Hoddle used to have John Gorman. It goes along the list. All these managers, they have experienced coaches with them. We've already named Fergie's ones, so and they're all top coaches. So yes, it's key that you have someone experienced. Now they usually have 3 or 4, but you have a nice young whippersnapper who know all the new trends, the new nooks and crannies, and then you have obviously an experienced head, which is key.
Get Bellamy and Roy Keane in there together. See
no.
Can you imagine?
That could kind of clash. That
could go wrong quick.
It could go wrong terribly.
They should do that and
big characters and
make a reality TV show out of it. Film it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, is it? They don't like the reality TV type them too.
No, that's it. I think it's going to be interesting, kind of like where they go. I don't know why. I look at the list and Jody Morris just seems like the one that I want, and I don't know. I can't explain it. He's got a great record as a coach.
He's been in number 2. Yes, he's done well with kids, but that's a bigger gamble than Flinty. So
don't know why. It's just something. I look at it and I just think, Jody Morris will do a good job. I might be way off.
They're all a risk. There's no guarantees anyway. So.
Yeah, and I think like Lee Bowyer would be on the list, but of course he's not going to leave Birmingham now because he's settled there and stuff. No. So, guys, if you've got any questions to finish us off, send them in now. We've got about five minutes left or so. we're going to have a quick little look at the fixtures for the weekend, mate. As always, we like to give our predictions. I predicted, by the way, that Liverpool would beat Man United, but that's probably the only prediction I got right in the whole thing, I think. But such is the way. Jody Morris, he can bring Frank Lampard with him. Okay, so let's have a look. Before we look, fixtures. No, wrong one. Fixtures. So some big games over the weekend, mate. QPR beating Forest at the moment, which is a big one because Forest are on a great run. So we got the first one we're looking at is Leicester versus Arsenal. How do you see that one going? Tough one. At Leicester.
Arsenal 2-1.
I'm going to go Leicester 2-1. Just fancy Leicester. Leicester, I think, just get so like they're so underrated. They just go under the radar all the time. Like I count them as the United goes sort of Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, United, Leicester. I put them above Spurs. I put them above Arsenal certainly.
Okay,
but yeah, I've gone off my page. Sorry. Burnley versus Brentford.
1-1.
1-1, and I'll go. I'm going to go Brentford for that one. 1-0. Burnley, Brentford. RG goes with the what do you say? 1-1. And I said 1-0 Brentford. Then we got LFC Liverpool versus Brighton at Liverpool. A tough one. Brighton just having a crazy
3-0,
season.
3-0 Liverpool.
Don't fancy Brighton to pinch a goal, mate, no?
No.
Okay. I'm going to go with a draw for that one.
A draw. The Brighton have just played an away game in the week, and they've got to go and travel back home and travel all the way up to Liverpool.
Oh, mate, we're talking geography for me, though. So how far is Brighton? How far would they have travelled?
Brighton to Liverpool is about 5 hours.
Oh,
And if they fly, it's probably about an hour. So, yeah.
What about... So where did... they would have travelled. Okay, I might change that then. Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1. 2-0.
They travelled in the week. They played penalties. They got beat on penalties, didn't you? Who did they play? So you know.
You'll have
Leicester.
to have a look.
So Leicester's a trek as well for them.
So they've done a load of travelling.
Yeah,
I geography, mate. It's shocking. So yeah, I'll go 2-0 Liverpool for them. Man City versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace having a great season.
1-0 Palace.
1-0 Palace. I've noticed you've got a tendency to go against Man City, mate. Any reason for that?
No. I think Palace over the last couple of years have had a good result. Certainly. That is the only reason.
Doing a great job. I gone 2-2 for that one. Then we got Newcastle United. Haven't signed Hazard yet. Playing Chelsea at Newcastle.
2-2.
2-2. I'm going to go with...
out of the box, that one.
3-1 Chelsea. That one, Chelsea are really looking good. Watford versus Southampton at Watford.
Watford seem like they've got themselves together now, so
they certainly do. They look
2-1. The old Tinkerman's got to work on him.
Yeah, Ranieri, an underrated coach, mate. In your opinion, I'm going.
He's won the league with Leicester City. Anyone who underestimates him is an idiot.
Idiot. Yeah. 2-0 Watford for me, that one. And then the 5 o'clock game, Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester United. The pressure's on. The heat is on, mate.
4-2 for for Manchester United.
Manchester.
Yeah.
4-2. Yeah, I think United will win comfortably. Harry Kane still got his tools on the
There's
field.
always goals there. Always.
Yeah, it's like
There's
always a
White
high
Hart
scoring
Lane
game.
there. So I'm guessing the same.
I'm going to go 3-2 to United.
They're both not blessed at the back. So United haven't kept a clean sheet all season. So I don't think that's going to change unless they've actually worked on something at the training ground. Shape, like you do. But yeah, Tottenham aren't great either.
Yeah, Harry Kane, mate. Since you said 2 weeks ago you had a bit of a dig at him for downing tools, I've paid more attention. I went back and had a look at some of his highlights for this season, and you're not wrong, mate. He is walking around the place. He has picked up a couple of goals recently, but they're like penalties and stuff. Like there's something's not right there. Whether it's a big problem, whether it's just him having his nose out of joint because he didn't get his move.
He won't get what he wanted.
But the amount of money he's getting paid by Tottenham Hotspur, mate, he should be doing his job, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. England captain as well.
Yeah, Jesus. But he's a top professional, mate.
Yeah,
professional.
Yeah,
nice guy.
I know, yeah.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a nice guy.
He missed his training for a week.
But it was arranged.
Do me a favour.
And if you notice, the stories that said it was previously arranged, they all came from like the same journalist. It's almost like they were being fed the information from his side of it.
His team would have been on damage limitation mode.
100%.
Yeah, so that's it.
Then we got Norwich City versus Leeds United at Norwich. Will Norwich finally get it together?
1-0 Leeds. Not having Norwich. I'm not going to go for Norwich at all
ever
this season. I've seen them and they are crap.
Average, mate. I'm going to go for a 3-0 for Leeds. I think Leeds are going to give them a bit of a pasting. Yeah. And then we've got Aston Villa versus the Hammers. That's a tough one, but I got to go West Ham, mate. I think they're doing enough still. I'm going to go 2-0 West Ham for that one.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go Villa. 2-1.
2-1 Villa. And then the Monday game, Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Everton at Wolves.
Wolves 2-0.
So we got 2-0 to Wolves. I'm going to go with a 1-1 there. Safe. And then we'll have a look at the Championship because people like it. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with some of these players. Like they get paid a lot of money and they get upset very, very quickly and very easily. And then suddenly it's disappointing. There's a comment for you, mate. Owen Jones says Harry Kane to Newcastle in January. There we go.
No chance. Harry Kane wants to leave Tottenham to win
stuff.
He ain't winning nothing at Newcastle the next 3 years.
I'm sure he's got a figure, mate, where
No, mate. No, he's not.
1 million a week.
There isn't a figure.
You don't think?
No.
If they offered him something completely unrealistically obscene.
No. £1 million a week. No.
So that's mental, mate. But I suppose. Stoke City versus Cardiff City at Stoke. That is going to be a very, very tough game for the Bluebirds under new management with Steve Morrison. How do you see that one going?
2-0 Stoke.
Oof. You'll be shocked to know that I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw. I'm
a realist. That's
obviously the way I will go. Now, I think I fancy Cardiff will get a draw. I don't know if they'll have enough to beat
Stoke. Have been playing well. Yeah, they've been playing well. They nearly beat Brentford in the week. So
yeah, they played very well against Brentford.
Yeah,
right?
So I think they're flying there. So they're doing well in the league as well. So no, 2-0 on win.
New manager, mate. New manager syndrome. You always have a bit of a lift. My worry with Cardiff is the same it was at the start of the season. They haven't got a big enough squad. If they get any injuries and suspensions, it just is what it is. I think they might pinch a point, though. And I think a point away at Stoke.
Do you say you're pinching or you're hoping?
Pinching, mate.
Pinch
Right,
him.
he's gonna get a point, mate. 100%. 95th minute equaliser, smashing.
Hopefully they do, but you know,
Stoke. I've been saying Stoke will go up for the last 2 years, and they never bloody do. But I fancy him.
9th, only lost. Mind you, they lost 5 games.
Yeah, they do lose, but they. Geraint says Cardiff haven't got a midfield. No chance. Stoke will win.
I'm wrong. Yeah. Stoke look like they're playing well as well. So
Cardiff just got to keep a clean sheet one of these days.
Yeah.
Just one of these days, keep a clean sheet. Donna said, I've been saying that for the last 8 games and Cardiff keep losing. She also says, remember to do your Super 6. Yeah, we've got to remember that.
I've done mine.
I haven't done mine yet, so I got to do that now after this. Gaz says, great show, boys. If Rhodri could pick any assistant for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now, who would it be? Any assistant in the world? Roy Keane. Interesting one. Do you think that would put more pressure on him, though, in that Roy Keane would want the manager's job? Yeah. I also think, by the way, Roy Keane has done a good job as assistant manager. If you look at his last couple of jobs with Martin O'Neill at Villa and Ireland, he did a good job. They did as a duo.
Steve Bruce just lost his job. Get Steve Bruce in. Ask Steve Bruce. Bruce, do you want to,
come and help out?
Yeah, your fans will love you. You know, you come coach for us. Come be assistant here. See what he says.
Interesting. So, what about what does Edwin van der Sar do at Ajax? Isn't he?
I think he's the same thing as Darren Fletcher. Not a lot. Just
director of football type thing. Yeah. Flies the flag.
Yeah.
Cade Child says he likes your Roy Keane suggestion. Good effort. Yeah. I think that's off the top of your head, mate, as well, because we didn't know the question beforehand. I think that's a pretty good one to pluck out of the air.
No, get with these class of 92s. No, the Takeover game on the TV. Come on, then, get on the coaching. Yeah. Get on the coaching pitch and see what you're about. Paul Scholes, Mickey Butt, Mickey Butt's not probably go back there now, but Scholes, Neville.
What does Gary Pallister do this now? Donna.
He works for MUTV.
Of course, yeah. So Gary Neville said he doesn't want a job in football anymore. He wants to do media.
No, that's never going to happen. But yeah, they've always got something to say. Get on, do it yourself. It's easy, sat in the studio, dissecting games.
How long did Paul Scholes last at Oldham?
28 days, a month.
Was there a reason why he left?
Yeah, there was bills, there was eating bills going off, lights going out, all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah, so
it wasn't what he signed up for.
Yeah, so it was all kinds of shenanigans. But he knew that before he went in, I think. So, but just probably worse than he thought.
Yeah. Nicky Butt wants Cardiff, not Man United, says Donna. That's why I don't think that's why he's left Man United, but I don't know why he has. But you never know. You never know. Cardiff's a big job, mate.
I just think if they're going in there as a novice, he's not a novice. He's managed kids in their 18s, but that's the same thing with Jody Morris.
Yeah.
Only Jody Morris has won the Youth Cup and he's got done a little bit of CV with Frank Lampard. So
I would, if you offered me now Flynn or Nicky Butt, I would probably take Flynn every day.
Yeah,
I think Flynn's more secure. Or you've got to weigh up the probabilities, basically, haven't you? And you've got to try and work out who's got the best chance of doing a good job.
It'd be more of a gamble.
Yeah, 100%. Garen Cole says Gary Neville has got far too much to say. Well, to be fair, it's his job. He has to say it, and I think he's very good and very honest.
Yeah, he's consistent. He's always had a big mouth, so he's consistent.
Cardiff's not a big job. It's just the proverbial big jobbies, says Craig. Yeah, I was joking, mate, isn't it? It should be a big job, should be a big club. Capital City of Wales. Like, we should be much bigger and better organised and all these things than we are. We're not. It's just is what it is. Kate Child says, anyone else seen it? It's all over social media. I don't know what you're talking about there, Kate. Do you think they'll announce Cardiff's manager before Morrison's 3 games are over if they secure one? No, I think because doesn't the 3 games take them into the international break? That seemed to be the indication that they were going to give themselves up until the international break to make the decision, which makes sense.
Yeah. You have to get it right. There's no rush. No point rushing these things.
They've got to get. If they get this decision horribly wrong, Cardiff can go down. So they have to get it right to make sure they stay up. Right, guys and girls, as always, been a pleasure. I appreciate all the comments and questions. Please do. Oh yeah, that's Paul Scholes. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that, mate. I found
what?
He's on about his mate.
No.
Rhys David Evans says, Rob Phillips on Twitter. Rob Phillips works for BBC Wales journalist. He says, to clarify, here in Cardiff City FC enlisted the help of a football person of experience to aid their search for a new manager. The names gradually being whittled down to a short list. The plan is for Morrison and Ramsort to get 3 games to clarify. 3 games. So the 3 games is they've got those 3 games. And I believe it takes them into the international break and stuff like that. Makes sense, doesn't it? To bring, because when you look at that board at Cardiff City, there's no one really who's got any football knowledge or expertise. They're all businessmen. So they need someone who can come and advise them on that side of things. Yeah. They should have come to me. I could have advised them. Yeah. Would have done it for half the price as well. No, they made a mistake there. But I've invited the Cardiff City chairman to join us, mate. We'll see what comes back. But I don't think it'll be in the next few weeks. I think he might be busy. But as always, guys, it's been a pleasure. Rhodri, nice one, my friend. Did you got anything planned for the weekend? Anything good?
No, nothing planned.
Golf?
Yeah. Get me Sunday, weather permitting. Get me a haircut tomorrow. Just chill, got a little one tomorrow. So
nice. God, my son's football is off tomorrow, so
I just took him. So he has football on Friday, 5 till 6, but it's indoors now. So yeah, just took him, dropped him off, and come straight here.
Nice one. That's what we like to hear. But I'll be back on Sunday with Danny Batten as always, and we have not one but 2 guests. First and foremost, 8 till 9, we have Cage Warriors featherweight champion of the world, Jordan Vucinic, joining us. Always a good one with Jordan. I like him a lot. He's a good lad. And we can ask him lots of questions about when he's going to go to the UFC. And also at 9 o'clock then, boxing personality, pundit type guy, Ben Doherty is joining us to preview Caleb Plant and Canelo next weekend and talk about any boxing stuff. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. Please do spread the word as much as you can. Help us keep growing. And because we're still only in episode 9. And most of all, download the audio version. That helps us out a lot as well. Available on Spotify and all those good stuff. But we'll be back next Friday, 7:30. And I'll be back on Sunday, 8 o'clock. Nice one, mate.
See ya.
Later.
Giggs. G-I-G-G-S. No. Rhodri.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at?
It's opinions. I respect your opinions. Maybe in your opinion, Messi is better than me, but in my mind, I'm better than him.
I do it again.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Like scars, I was cold hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buy Carhartt cards and get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on